They thought you were done. They saw your silence and assumed you gave up. They thought your disappearance meant defeat. But what they didn't see was what Allah was doing in that silence. They saw retreat, but He was writing your resurgence. They saw you hiding, but Allah, He was hiding you to rebuild you. Let them assume what they want. Let them whisper. Let them misread your pause. Because this is not your breakdown. This is your divine buildup. Have you ever felt abandoned? Even when you were clinging to Allah most, you turned to Him again and again. You did sujood until your forehead ached. You raised your hands in dua, sometimes with tears, sometimes with silence. But all you got was more silence. And it made you wonder, is He ignoring me? Is this a punishment? Am I forgotten? But what if that silence wasn't abandonment, but preparation? You see, many who are chosen for something greater walk through a season of divine quiet, because before Allah reveals you, He refines you. Now, let's unpack the mystery of the silence together. Here are 8 signs your silence isn't your ending. It's proof Allah is rebuilding you. 1. Allah disconnected you from the noise. This isn't isolation, it's divine separation. You thought it was loneliness. Friends faded, plans collapsed. Your circle shrank, and you began to panic. Maybe you even begged Allah, why am I losing everyone? But this wasn't punishment, it was purification. He wasn't emptying your life. He was clearing space for peace, because sometimes to amplify the signal, Allah has to cancel the background noise. He isolated you to introduce you to yourself again, to reconnect you not just with your soul, but with Him. 2. Unknown power growing in the silence. Silence isn't empty. It's full of answers you couldn't hear in the noise. In this quiet, a strange kind of spiritual strength starts to bloom. You stop talking and start listening to the whisper of your soul. Your du'as become heavy, not in volume, but in depth. Your sujood becomes less ritual and more refuge. You realize that some answers don't arrive wrapped in miracles. Some come folded inside pain, inside loneliness, inside the stillness. Allah has been growing you quietly, as roots strengthen deeper before the tree rises taller. 3. Misunderstood for bigger exposure. You were never meant to be understood by everyone, only elevated by the one. People stop checking in. They say, you've changed, and maybe you have. Because when Allah chooses to elevate, He first allows misunderstanding. Your presence began making others uncomfortable. But you didn't do it for people. You didn't pray for applause. You were being reshaped for impact, not approval. Your acceptance comes from the one who knows the secrets within chests. 4. Signs only you can see. What Allah shows your heart is bigger than what people see with eyes. Suddenly, random verses feel personal. A khutbah hits a nerve. A passing statement from a stranger feels like an answer to a dua you whispered weeks ago. The world thinks it's coincidence, but you know it's divine communication. Allah's connecting dots for you. He's showing you signs, small whispers that only your heart understands. 5. The hardest tests came right before the shift. Before every elevation comes pressure so heavy, it feels like you won't make it. Right before the breakthrough, you were broken, emotionally, spiritually, maybe even financially. You were thrown into storms you didn't ask for, and it felt like your dua were falling on closed gates. But here's the truth. What was shattering you was actually shifting you. What looked like collapse was divine construction. Allah had to shake what you were standing on, so He could redirect your foundation to Him. 6. From needing to be seen to being aligned. The old you needed validation, the new you seeks alignment. There was a time when you poured your heart out for the world to see, posting your pain in the hope that someone, anyone, would notice your struggle and offer comfort. You wanted to be seen, to be heard, to feel like your efforts mattered to the people around you. You measured your worth in likes, comments, and words of approval. You used to chase affirmation, seeking the applause of others to silence your own doubts. You relied on their praise to soothe your insecurities. You lived in a cycle of performing for people who could never truly fill the emptiness you felt inside. But something in you changed. Now you've stopped seeking what was never meant to sustain you. Your compass points in one direction, toward the pleasure of Allah. You no longer crave their approval because you found peace in His acceptance. This is alignment. Not alignment with fleeting opinions or shifting standards of people, but alignment with the unchanging qadr of Allah. This is where your strength is born. This is where you find true freedom, where you no longer need to be seen by them, because you are always seen by Him. 7. Forgiving without closure. Not because they said sorry, but because your soul needed peace. They hurt you, didn't they? They betrayed your trust when you were most vulnerable. They walked away when you thought they would stand by your side. They left you with unanswered questions, sleepless nights, and an ache you thought would never leave. They told lies that shattered your confidence and made you doubt your worth. And maybe they never came back to apologize. Maybe they never owned up to the pain they caused or the scars they left behind. But deep inside, you chose to forgive anyway. Not because they deserved it, but because you deserve peace. You knew that holding on to anger was only poisoning your own heart. You knew that bitterness cannot travel to where Allah is taking you next. So you handed the hurt over to Allah. You let Him be the judge, the healer, the one who sees what was done in secret. And you decided to release what was heavy to make space for what is sacred. Because forgiveness isn't about them, it's about you and your relationship with Allah. You chose peace over revenge. You chose freedom over resentment. Because what's coming next in your life is too heavy, too meaningful, too sacred to carry anything that doesn't serve your soul. And you know deep down, Allah's plan is always worth more than your pain. 8. Pain delivered you into a new version of you. The pain didn't come to destroy you. It came to deliver you. You are not who you used to be, not because your life changed, but because you did. Allah allowed the storm to strip every layer that was hiding your real light. You emerged softer, wiser, quieter, but clearer. More faithful, more focused, more aligned with who Allah always knew you could be. What looked like an ending was actually Allah's beginning. Don't fear the silence, because it's in the silence your soul was forged, your heart reconnected, and your destiny reborn. Like this video if it reminded you that silence isn't failure. Subscribe if you believe Allah writes the best stories. Allahumma ja'alna min as-sabirin. O Allah, make us of the patient and steadfast. Indeed, the patient will be given their reward without account. Quran 39:10. Stay patient, stay faithful, because very soon, your silence will speak louder than your pain.